Welcome to the Mental Toughness Podcast. This is Matt Phillips, founder of Pro Athlete Advantage. And today I get to introduce you to a very special guest, Mr. Bryan Renaud. Bryan is the founder and CEO of Podify. For those of you not familiar with Podify, please go check out his website, podify.com. That is spelled Podify. I have been anxious to get Bryan on the podcast. He and I met probably about a year ago through a mutual friend and just hit it off from the start. He's got a fascinating background. He played pro tennis for about 7 to 8 years and then started his own personal training and tennis coaching business back in 1999 and has been very, very successful with that and growing it to levels that a lot of personal trainers and coaches don't get to. About 4 years ago, though, he decided he wanted to do something bigger, and that's when he launched Podify. It is a fascinating platform for creating referral business. You can be a personal trainer, masseuse, you can be in the mortgage industry, but it's really harnessing the power of referrals because, as you know, if you are in sales or a business owner, you understand the power in referrals, and he has built this just amazing platform at Podify to help individuals grow their business, connect, process payments, schedule time. It's pretty incredible what this platform offers and the power that it has to help you grow your business. Bryan and I talk about, a variety of different things in this podcast. We do everything from talking about, kind of how he overcame those initial few months and 12 months of building his personal training and tennis coaching business, to all the way to kind of what adversity he's faced from a Podify perspective, and what really drives him on a daily basis. We climb in the mindset of a true entrepreneur that has not only built multiple businesses, but is hyper-focused on high performance, but nutritionally from a fitness perspective, who he surrounds himself with, and how to have this just abundance mindset in life. You are going to love this interview with Bryan. Again, I'm so thankful for him for taking his time and in sunny San Diego to be on the podcast with me. As a quick aside, you're going to hear me talk. I think every time I talk to him on the phone, I ask him, how's the weather in San Diego? And I don't know why I ask that every time, because it seems to be the same each and every time that I ask. So but we joke about that a little bit. Please get out your pens and paper. You're going to want to take some notes. There are fabulous nuggets of wisdom within this interview, and enjoy this interview with Mr. Bryan Renaud, CEO and founder of Podify. Hey, Bryan, thank you so much for taking your time. I'm really, really pumped to have you on the podcast today.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you having me here.
For all of you listening, and I gave a little bit of a background on Bryan in the intro, but it was pretty cool. We've been connected, I don't know, maybe a year or so, Bryan, or maybe a little less than that, but had a mutual friend connect us, and it was really based on two people, as kind of Matt put it, of focused with the same or very similar mindset. So it was really, really cool to connect with you whenever that was, 9 months or a year ago. And your background's awesome, and we've had some fabulous conversations about growing businesses, about pouring into others and impacting people in big ways. And you, in your career, not only with personal training, but also in launching and Podify and being this active CEO of Podify, you've been kind of through some of the ups and downs and have tested your mental muscle, if you will, quite a bit over these past, probably not 4 years with Podify because you just hit your 4-year anniversary, but you've been training since '99 and teaching tennis since 2001. So you've kind of experienced those ebbs and flows that all entrepreneurs go through.
Yep, exactly. Those muscles have been depleted and restored many, many times.
Exactly. And, I want to jump into a couple different areas, but, where I want to start off is just, talk mental toughness, talk mindset. And I'm just curious, when you hear those words, mental toughness, what do you think of? How do you define it? What types of, people or groups do you think of when you hear, the mentally tough ones?
Oh man, good question. Well, I got two categories in my mind. One, the athletes, to get to any level as an athlete, the mental toughness is the differentiator between an amazing athlete and one who's just that much better. The second one is honestly the world of entrepreneurs with startups. The mental toughness to get through 16-hour days, 10 days a week. It's those are two amazing different types of athletes. But yeah, I would say that's what comes to mind.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I was talking with someone earlier today about, especially the entrepreneurial world, right? And starting your own business and putting yourself out there, and how, in a lot of areas of our life, we can tend to hide, right, from the kind of fears and worries and doubts and, negative self-talk that we all deal with, right? But when you become that entrepreneur, or, from an athletic perspective, when you're playing on the highest stage, you can't run from those. I mean, it's almost like, the way I describe it is they're staring you in the face every day, and you have to address them almost if you're going to be successful.
Yeah, there's nothing like starting your own business, and there's nothing like trying to compete at that highest level where it will shine a flashlight on the darkest, deepest spot deep inside of you and pull that little creature out that's still hanging on, that's doubting you, that you're scared of, that you're not going to be able to get through that training session, that fundraising round, that blah, 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 blah. And there's nothing like putting yourself in those situations where you're really growing through it. And that was one of the things I think that really helped me out was, I played tennis professionally for about 7-8 years in my younger years when I was still mobile.
Right.
And then the last 4 years with building Podify and funding it myself and all of the down rounds and getting us to that point where we needed to be, is realizing that the down bottom, when you think you've hit bottom, usually there's still more to go, but is looking at them as a growth opportunity, because when things are riding really high and you're performing great and things are good, you're not necessarily growing. You're kind of enjoying the fruit of what you put in weeks, months, years beforehand. And when you hit a new valley, I always looked at it and go, man, I'm struggling right now. I don't think I'm going to be able to get through this, but whatever I'm learning right now is what's going to strengthen me. So then the next phase that I get into, I'm going to feel like I'm flying again, and that's kind of a mindset that I've always tried to use when I'm in the bottom.
Right. Well, and, looking at your background, I mean, I know we talked back to 99, right? And, you kind of started your own first business, right? Because you were working for that sports club, earning not a heck of a lot of money. And you decided to kind of jump off and start your own business and really jump into the unknown and lose that, security, if you will, that was at that sports club. So talk to me a little about, like, what was that like? And then how did that kind of jumping off, how did that compare to you 4 years ago deciding to go launch Podify? Similar, different? Like how?
Yeah, good question. So back when I graduated with my bachelor's in exercise physiology, and then I started training and teaching tennis out of the sports club up in San Francisco. And, you're giving up 50, 60% of every hour that you're working. And I'm like, man, and that's what we're all fitness and health and wellness professionals, if we're working at a studio, you're working at a gym, you're working at a sports club, or you're giving up a huge chunk of every billable hour, obviously, because you got the client through that facility, but you need that as a training ground so you can really fine tune your skills and know your demographic that you're best with working with and really gain the confidence. And then after, 2-3 years of that, you should be in a position where you can go out on your own. But that jump to saying, okay, I'm going to run my own business now. I got to find my own clients. I got to build my own professional network. I've got to have all my own administrative, checks and balances built into my system. And so that was a pretty big leap. And I remember I had like probably 50 or 60 clients at the sports club and was making probably, I don't know, at the time, like $75,000, but I knew I was giving up more than half of it. So I'm like, man, if I left on my own, I could really be making some good money.
Right.
And I left with 3 clients and I started my own business. And within like probably a year, I was back up to having 50, 60 clients, now all in-home clients, teaching them on their tennis courts at their home or in their gyms at their home. And I just had this, really good network of other professionals that were now my clients and I'm learning from. And a lot of them were just teaching me about business. And I didn't know a lot about business. I thought I did, but I didn't. And so they pushed me to go back and get my MBA. So then I went back while I was running my business and got my MBA in night school.
Wow.
Took me 4 years to get, but those were some fun years. And I got the MBA because I knew I wanted to do something even bigger. And just because you're making, a couple $100,000 a year training and teaching tennis, like that's an amazing living, but I wanted something more scalable and I wanted to be able to reach more people's lives. And I'm like, okay, I'm affecting 50, 60 people's lives beautifully, but how do I do it on a bigger scale? And then that's what forced me to want to get into that next phase with Podify.
And that's awesome. And let's talk a little bit about kind of that, leading with 3 clients and building up to 50, 60. I mean, do you remember some of the, tactics or around kind of the mental side that helped keep you going? Was it you built a plan and you stayed true to it and executed it every day? Was it you overcoming kind of that negative self-talk and pushing through? Was there anything in particular that helped you kind of overcome that start with 3 clients, going from 50 to 3 back up to 50?
Yeah. That's another good question. A plan in place. It's kind of funny. Like I was old school back in the day. I'm 38 now, so I'm not terribly old. But back in the day when I did this was 2004. I had those big Post-it note, on an easel, and I just put them all over the walls, stacked high and low in my bedroom, and I must have had 40 of them up. And I organized my entire life on these things of my goals and my ambitions and my dreams, where I wanted to be in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, the things that I wanted, how I wanted to feel, the impact I wanted to make. And I just went to town. I remember when I left that sports club, I went to town for like that first month and just really got clear on what I wanted, who I wanted to mentor me and coach me to try to get to that next level. And this was all while sleeping on a twin mattress on the floor in my buddy's place, because I had no job. And I was like, I got to figure out how to get this thing, get this business off the ground. So.
That's unreal. And I think that's such a powerful piece of like understanding, taking that step back of like, who do you want to be? How do you want it to feel when you get there? And also kind of the mentor coach side of things. Did you, early on in that piece of that side of the career, were you able to find kind of that mentor and coach? You mentioned, some of your clients were also teaching you along the way, but was there one person that kind of stuck out on that journey that really helped you?
Yeah. I had a couple of them. I've been blessed with, I'll come back to this. I kind of got into a lot of the coaches on business and efficiency, the Tony Robbins, Stephen Covey's back in the day, like trying to become, studying a lot of their stuff. But I had a coach up in San Francisco who was, for lack of better words, like a spiritual energy life coach person, just challenging me to face head on the things that I was feeling. We're all feeling those. The doubts, I can't do this, it's too big for me, I don't have the skill sets, and one of the big things that always got me was that I always felt like, what's the right word? An imposter, if that makes sense. It's an imposter syndrome, I think they even call it. Like it's got a name where you're like, I've got these skill sets and I'm like, I know I can do this, but then you really just lacking that confidence. Like, am I really qualified to be doing this with these clients? Like that whole thing. I even went through a lot of that, even with Podify. Like I've got the MBA for business, but how did I come to build a 2 million lines of code software platform when I don't know anything about software?
Right.
But to say I can jump in and tackle something like that in the unknown is, I think that coach I had up in San Francisco, this lady was probably 60 years old. And she just grounded me and was the mirror I needed to see on all of the things that I was dealing with.
How do you, because I think when we, I've gone through that in the past too, right? Where you're, up on a stage or working with somebody and you're like, man, how did I get here, right? And,
Yep.
you have those doubts of, are they going to see through something, right? Even though there's nothing to see through.
Yeah, they're going to see through this.
We're supposed to be there, right?
Yep.
How did you, kind of work through that? Because again, the thing that I tell people all the time is like, when I talk mental toughness, right? When we're, talking confidence and staying focused, emotionally in control, all this stuff, right? It's not a magic pill. It's not like you get through one situation, you get to the other side and you're better for it and you push through that. It's not like it's going away, right? And the only hope is that, if and when it does crop up again, that you're able to deal with it more effectively the second time around and move through it quicker, right?
Yep.
Was, kind of dealing with that kind of life coach, spiritual coach, how did that help you when you're in the Podify world and those same sorts of things creep up? How did you kind of work through that and leverage what you've done before?
It's there's a famous quote, I can't remember it right now, but basically the first time you face something, right, it's too big, but you figure out how to get through it. The second time you see it sometime in the future, you're like, yeah. And I remember when I did blah, 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 blah. But if I had done this other thing, next thing you know, that massive hurdle again is a little bit more manageable.
Yes.
With Podify, it was a lot different because there was just so much at risk. I've put $500,000 of my own money in. I've raised another $1 million of outside people's money, who happens to be all my old personal training. All my old personal training clients are my investors. So we've got 13 investors in the company, and they were all my clients for the last 10 years. So it's kind of cool that I built this business of personal training and teaching tennis. And then all of those clients have collectively come together to fund me and support this next vision in my life, which I think is a cool testament that, that I've had clients that have been with me for that long, because personal trainers usually get, if you can get a few months out of a client, you've done well.
Right.
Never mind 15 plus years. So, but I think that's one of the things, like seeing a problem, really knowing that you can bite-size chunk your way through it. And it's kind of weird to say, but tomorrow is going to be here, whether or not you actually achieve it today.
Yes.
And so that's one of the things, like with Podify, and knowing I've got payroll due for my entire team, but I don't have the money. Like, you want to talk about stress when, I've got guys working for me who have a family and kids, and the salary is what is keeping their family going. And I know I don't have the money in the bank to pay them, and I've got 48 hours to find that funding,
Yes.
I mean, it's different levels of stress. And you just, I think you just bite your way through it.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge point though, right? That chunking mentality, because it's those things that are seemingly overwhelming and seemingly those mountains. If you just take one step at a time, eventually you're going to get over the mountain, right?
Yep.
But I think that's,
and it may not be the fastest route. It may not be the most efficient route, but you'll get it. And I think when you're coming up out of that, right, out of that valley, over that mountain, through that obstacle, as long as you're doing it with eyes wide open and assessing as you're going through it, not judging yourself because it's taking longer, or you took the path that had an extra little squiggle through it, right? But you learn through it. The next time you see it, you're that much more efficient, and you're that much more prepared to get through it.
Yes. Well, I love that comment, like assess, don't judge, right? Assess your path, assess yourself. Don't judge yourself and label yourself, and because that gets negative really quick, or can if you're not careful. Maybe I'm the only one that's been tough on myself.
No. Well, I honestly think that we are tougher on ourselves than anybody will ever be tougher on. No one has ever driven me or stressed me out more than I've done to myself.
Right.
And I think as long as you're willing to learn and assess how you're performing versus judging on how you're performing, because if you're assessing it, you're still learning, and you know that while I'm doing this, I'm getting through it. It may not be the best, but I'm getting through it. Next time's going to be even better. Versus, eyes kind of closed and in self-defeat, and you kind of got through it, but you didn't know how, and you don't know how to make it better.
Yes. No, that's so true. The let's talk. Well, let me ask one question before, because I want to talk about Podify, because your journey is fascinating on that, and it continues to be fascinating, and I just love the business model around it. But you've worked with a ton of clients for a long time in your business, and when you are training them and have in the past, how did you help motivate them to kind of push through where normal people stop? Was there something certain you did or tactics you put in place to help them kind of push those limits? I'm always curious about how do you get the most out of people when they want to kind of give up and give in when they could do another rep, and they can, and they probably know they can, but they don't.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I always ask everybody to give me 100%, and that may sound cliche, but the 100% that you can give today isn't the 100% that you can give tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow you wake up and your kid was up all night sick, and you didn't get any sleep, and you're tired and you're stressed out, and you got bills due, whatever. You know what I mean? Yes. Like tomorrow's 100% may actually only be 60% of today's 100%, right? And so that was one of the things I really think I did well, is that within 60 seconds of showing up at my client's home or at the park or wherever we may be in training or meeting, is within 60 seconds, I know who that person is that day, what I can get out of them, right? Because you have to learn to meet people where they are at that moment. 2 hours before, maybe they were, 20% even higher, but they got a flat tire on the way over, and they just got some bad news from the doctor, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I think, everyone always says, oh, give 100%. Well, as long as you understand that your 100% changes throughout the day and throughout the week, and being able to assess somebody and say, man, this person is on fire right now, and they actually got 130% of what yesterday was, right? And I think that's one of the things, because life is a marathon, not a sprint, right? So if I kill somebody today in a workout, but their body wasn't really ready for it, right? They wasn't able to receive it. They ended up tweaking their back. They ended up, slightly getting a strain in the ankle, because when they landed out of the plyometric, they weren't focused enough to stick the landing or whatever, you know what I mean? And so really understanding, like, meeting them where they are, and knowing that today is a building block for the next day. And am I going to tear them down, or am I going to build them up today, and meet them where they are?
I love that. Do you think most people, if they don't feel 100%, that's when they don't go to the gym and don't eat the right stuff? And
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think 100% on that.
Yes.
How you feel is how you're going to act throughout the day. And if I feel like crap, I'm probably not going to be eating very well, probably not hydrating enough, probably didn't take 10 minutes to meditate and clear my head. I'm probably not going to get a workout in, and then I'm probably not going to be on the floor rolling around with my kids at the end of the day with energy, pouring love into them. I'm probably going to be vegged out, checked out in front of the TV or reading or the news or something. But I think that vibrancy, comes from the good eating, taking care of yourself mentally, physically. And
I think I love that. I love that mentality, right? If I'm going to give 100% of what I have today, right? Depending on what's happened in life. And that still means I can go to the gym. That still means I can eat the right things. It still means I can roll around with my kids and play with them at home. It may not be my ideal 100%, but it's what I have today, and I'm going to pour that into them in a positive way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think I've run into that in the past where, you get home and it's been a long day, and it's like I think about going to the gym, and you have those decision points, and I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means. Where I've chosen,
you're perfect.
I've chosen the glass of wine over the gym. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I think I'm the only one, but
Yeah, I know. It's the Colorado in you.
Exactly. That's how we roll. I love it.
Well, and this kind of gets me to another little topic, and that is your workout has to be the first thing in the day, right? My alarm goes off every day at the same exact time. The funny thing, which is 4:45 a.m. The funny thing is I'm always up before my alarm goes off. And I'm at the gym at 5, train for an hour, and guess what? I don't have to think about the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Getting my workout in. Starts my day, then I'm done with my workout. Man, I feel good. Guess what? Breakfast is unbelievably healthy. I'm at home playing with my son before I take off for the day for work to go train a few clients and then head to Podify's office, manage my team, build the business, but that workout is done and I start my day. And if I said, I'm not going to do it then, I'm going to do it at the end of the day. Well, at the end of the day, there's 1,000 excuses. Yes. But at 4:45 in the morning, there is no excuse.
Yep. That's
right?
So true. It's so true. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's it.
I think it's so powerful in the morning that, whenever you wake up, it's that whole thing of, right, from a productivity perspective, like do the things that are going to set your day up for success.
Yes.
So that healthy breakfast, the working out, the meditation, the reading, whatever you want to do with it. Yep. But get those important things in, because the rest of the day can frankly be out of control and out of your control.
Well, you can't. And that's you hit it on the head there. You can't control the rest of your day, but you can control your morning before your day starts. And I also know that at the end of the day, I feel guilty if I have been at work all day and I am not. If I'm like done with work and I'm not going home, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm like, man, you know what? My wife, I haven't seen her all day. My son, I haven't played with him all day. Am I really going to go to the gym for an hour right now? Like at that moment, it feels like a very selfish thing.
Yes. Because
I do have dependents and a family, that I need to give to. But at 4:45 in the morning, they're sleeping, and I'm up getting my workout done and starting my day. There's, and I run to the gym, which is about a 10-minute run. That's my meditation quiet time. Then I run home at the end of the workout. And, it's like, okay, that's my quiet time and start my day.
Awesome. So for those people out there who are listening right now being like, well, hey, it's great. Bryan can get up at 4:45 in the morning and he's got that flexibility and stuff. But, I don't have that much time in the morning to get in my workout and stuff. What would you tell them?
You make time for the things that are important, right? It's just that this needs to move up in the batting order.
Yes.
Right. I mean, you find time to take a drive somewhere that you didn't need to do because you could have tagged that on to another errand that you were going to run later in the week, and you find time to grab lunch with a friend, or you know what I mean? But really putting in the time into yourself, because I think without that workout in the morning, the rest of my day is so different.
True.
And if I'm thinking like I got to get to the gym today, I'm like on this interview with you right now.
Right.
I got to get to the gym today. I'm like, oh man, but my son, he's not feeling well. I should go home and help relieve my wife so she can have a break.
Right.
No, workout's already done.
Yep.
And it's a muscle. It's kind of funny. Like if you're either a morning person or you're not, but you can train to be a morning person. There's something so peaceful and so, what's the right word? Like solitude in the morning, like being up at that hour, at 2 hours before the rest of the world is really up and moving. And like, I'm prepped for the day, Yes. It's like trying to ask a pro athlete, Roger Federer to get on the tennis court. Hey man, get on the court right now. You got to get your day started on in your match. And it's like, whoa, couldn't I had like a stretch session with my coach, and I should have probably done a little bit of loosening up in the gym before I got on the court. You know what I mean? Like Get the body prepped, get yourself ready for that match. Going to the office every day essentially is your job. Is your, whether most people aren't pro athletes who are training all day for their event. They're business professional pro athletes.
Yes.
And you got to almost train for that event. Life is the event.
I love that perspective of it. Yeah, you're training. So what are you going to do to prep your day, to prep your competition that's coming up?
Yep.
I love that. What time do you go to bed at night? I know it's a random question, but
Yeah. Why are you asking? No, just kidding.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how many
Yeah.
hours of sleep you get a night.
Yeah. So I always put my son Charlie, I put him to sleep. He's only 15 months.
Okay.
I put him to sleep at 8:30.
Okay.
And I'm usually there right after, like usually by 9 o'clock, 9:30, I'm asleep.
Okay.
So my goal is 7 hours of sleep.
Okay.
So if I'm getting up at 7:45, then I want to be in bed by 9:45, asleep by 9:45. It's dark. If I'm reading, it's not on my phone.
Yes.
I love Audible. I listen to books on tape from everybody. I'm listening to The Four Agreements. I don't know if you've ever read or listened to that book. It's amazing. The four agreements that you've made with yourself. And then the new agreements that you should make. Like an agreement is essentially your belief that you have. So, like the first agreement is be impeccable with your word, because essentially your word is all you have to express yourself to others. The other agreements are, don't make assumptions. And the fourth one is always try your best, no matter what. And that's where I get that from. No matter what you are trying your best is, today's 100%. Tomorrow it may not be that.
Yes.
So
I like that.
That's a phenomenal resource.
That's cool. I'm always looking for new reads, so I'll be picking that one up, and I'll make sure I add it to the show notes here as well. And do you find like listening to books before bed is like pretty calming, relaxing for you?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Yeah, it's something I need to try too, because I'm usually reading books on my phone, and I try to dim the light on the phone so it's not like blaring, like just crushing my eyes.
I've got a little bit of dyslexia, and it's been like undiagnosed, right? It's not like I've had this, but I know that I'm the world's slowest reader. Okay. And it just takes me a long time to read.
Right.
Maybe because I'm stupid. No, just kidding. No. but I know myself that I learn 1,000 times better through hearing than through reading. Yeah. So I can get through the Four Agreements book in like 3-4 hours. Well, that's just that's a few car rides and 2 nights of sleep, and I've got a book done. Awesome. And I can just absorb it a lot quicker than I do reading. So
awesome. Okay, this is huge. I'm always fascinated by people's routines and what they do, like when they wake up, when they go to bed, because it's again, back to your word, it's kind of preparing for sleep, preparing for the day. So I appreciate you asking me. I'll make sure I don't call past 9 p.m. San Diego time.
Well, and on the weekends, I mean, we stay up really late, like sometimes 10 p.m. It's nuts around here. Yeah, I mean, nuts.
That's getting crazy.
So, yeah. Well, and here's what, and this is maybe another interesting point. Like, people usually have 2 routines: their weekday routine and their weekend routine. Mm-hmm. The problem is, for most people, I think that the weekend routine is so much different than the weekday routine that it takes them. That's why Mondays suck. It takes them Monday and Tuesday to get back into the routine, the rhythm of the week. And so Saturday and Sunday, I'm still up at that hour, getting up early.
Really?
And that's why I can wake up at that time before the alarm clock, because it's not like on the weekends I sleep till 7, 8, 9 o'clock.
True. Up
early, get it done, go to bed early. And my friends, I love seeing them and whatnot, but after I hang out with them from, 7 to 9 p.m., okay, cool. We had a great Friday or Saturday night. We got to catch up. We had a glass of wine.
Yes.
I don't need to be hanging out here till 10, 11, 12. I want to sleep, and tomorrow morning I want to kick ass.
Yes.
Well, next thing, and then their people's food changes on the weekends, and where they've eaten out, and they went to brunch out, and they had the wrong food. Now they're tired. Now they need a nap. Now Saturday went by. Oh, now it's Sunday. Oh shit, work's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. Because at the end of the day, the body, the mind, like it craves consistency.
Yeah. Exactly. Routine. The body loves routine. The mind loves routine. If you've got a routine, no matter what. Now, it just may not be the routine that's best fit for your, your goals that you want to achieve. And we all have a routine, sleeping in on Saturday until 10 o'clock is a routine,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
So
That's exactly right. I love that. Well, it's a good challenge for people listening, and for me, frankly, to even, look at some of the routines we have, and especially like what are we doing on the weekends, and how can we
yep,
optimize that piece,
yep,
um,
yep.
and not just say it's going to be a free for all on a Saturday or Friday night, and hey, how do we just tone it down maybe a little bit, but just keep in
Yeah.
mind like what ultimate goals do I want out of this?
Yep.
I
Well, I
love
think
that.
I always think of the weekends as time to reflect. I usually stop work early on Fridays. And I usually stop like around 1 p.m.
Okay.
And I take the rest of the time to reflect on, I'll go for a run or go play tennis.
Nice.
And I'll reflect on how the week went, the wins that I had. Congratulations, Bryan, on that victory. That was good. That new client that you picked up, that client that referred you to someone else because they were so excited.
Yes.
That win I got on Podify, the text message I got from my wife saying, thank you for being such a great dad to our son out of the blue, right? Something like that. Like, okay, you know what? That was a victory. That was a victory. Okay, now where could I have been more efficient with my time? Where could I have been better?
Yes.
Shouldn't have had that chocolate bar last night,
Right. Right.
but just like not judging, but just that assessing on it. And I think that's always good. I think most of us kind of go through life without really hardcore looking at what we're doing, but with the right eyes.
Yes.
And if we do that, then we keep growing.
I love that, and I appreciate you sharing that. I want to turn to Podify because I could talk to you about just routines and stuff, I think, all day. So for those of you who don't know, and again, the link to the website, podify.com, will be in the show notes and all that stuff. And I'll ask Bryan at the end where we can best connect with him, which is that'll be one of the places. But what gave you the inspiration to start Podify?
Oh, it's a good question. 4 years ago, yesterday, well, April 23rd of 14, I started Podify, and the inspiration. Podify is actually kind of like the culmination of just me, what I've learned.
Right.
And so, the average personal trainer in the United States makes like $38,000 a year. That's the going rate, 38 and change. Really, really amazing personal trainer. Maybe they're making like, 7,500 grand a year.
Okay.
I had figured out how to make $250 a year personal training. And not that I even really care about money. I'm the least money driven person. And it's just like, I figured out a cool little system.
Yes.
And I was good at personal training, and I've got, I went to a really good school, Springfield College, which is in Massachusetts, really just known for exercise physiology and physical therapy. And I knew what I really wanted to do as a career. A lot of people get into training and it's kind of like, well, I like fitness and I like working with people and maybe I can make it a career. And oh shit, how do I find a client? My first one.
Right.
I just always knew that this was going to be a career for me. It wasn't just a hobby. I wanted to see if I could dabble and make money, like a real estate agent, maybe, if I wanted to get into being a realtor.
Yes.
Well, and so I think that, really was a student of the industry. I love the fitness industry. When I was in high school, I went through a bout of like anorexia and bulimia, just a lot of stress in my life, losing some family members and whatnot. And I controlled my food. And that was my comfort through some really, really tough times. And so I came from a family that's really overweight. And so here I am at, 5'8" and 97, 96 pounds. Wow. And with, family members well near 300 pounds. Wow. And I'm like, there's got to be some balance in here. Like, I'm not healthy. I know that. They're not healthy. And this was in my high school years. And so I went back and I decided that when I went to college, I wanted to study exercise physiology, kinesiology, understand biomechanics and nutrition. And I wanted to help me and my family. And that turned into my passion for wanting to help others. And leading into that, I really wanted to help other people who wanted to do what I was doing, right? Because the more high quality trainers and health and wellness coaches that are out there, the more we're impacting our society. And if you can't make a career at it and you're just like, man, I only got 3 clients and I got this other thing on the side that I got to try to do to make my real money, but then I really want to do this, like, how can I find a way to help more people be able to make this a career? Because they say 80% of people who try to become a personal trainer end up falling out within the first 12 months because it's just impossible to build up a big enough clientele to make enough money, right? I got 1 client I train at night and 1 on the weekends, and well, that isn't a career. That's a part, and so looking at that and knowing that most of the trainers I knew at some of the different clubs I was at and whatnot, some of them were really struggling how to find new clients, how to market themselves, really how to understand their target audience, who the best clients are that they should be working with, to really play on their strengths. Even just things on how to manage money, right? I mean, you become really good with your clients. Like with a relationship, now it almost becomes hard for me to like, hey, Matt, by the way, I know we're friends. You're also my client and this is my business. And you're 10 sessions over on your package of training. And my rent was due last week.
Right.
Could you give me a check, man? You know what I mean? The money conversation gets kind of hard because you're in a relationship business. You want to build a relationship, yet there's still money being transacted in that relationship. So finding that balance where I can get the money, it doesn't impact the relationship. And I think that's what I wanted to do with Podify. So I looked at my career here in San Diego, and I'm in North County, San Diego in Solana Beach. And I had probably 18 or 20 professionals that I can consider them like complementary service providers. So as a personal trainer, if you try to be everything to your client, right? I'm going to do your nutrition, and I'm going to do your physical therapy, and I'm going to do your body work, and you know what I mean? Like you try to do everything because you're not good at anything. So I know what I'm really good at. They come to me because I'm going to do your sports conditioning for tennis as an athlete, right? That's what I'm focusing on. I can charge $150 an hour, and I was doing 12 plus sessions every day, 6 days a week. I mean, it's a lot of hours, but I knew what I was good at. But I had these other professionals that were unbelievable. Rolfing and a Reiki person and a muscle activation technique person, bioenergetic synchronization person, physical therapist, right? Trigger point massage, all Thai massage, all of these different types of professionals that could do body work, acupuncture, acupressure, just the list went on. I had all these great other professionals. I'm working with my clients and it's like, oh, you got a little tennis elbow? Yeah. Oh, you know what? Acupuncture and Rolfing are amazing for tennis elbow. Cool. I'm sending a client over. Now these other professionals, I'm funneling all of my clients every week. I'm sending tons of referrals to them. And where do you think their clients are getting sent to? Back to me.
Right.
And so I just always had this influx of clients, a flow of clients coming in because I was running my own business. They're all running their own business. And we just kept funneling clients to each other because we knew what we were good at. And if my client is spending that much money with me for an hour, well, they can afford to go do, a trigger point massage, or cupping or whatever it may be.
Yes.
And then next thing you know, like the hairstylist, right? Because I'm training some women and their hairstylist, like, oh, where did your client get her hair done that you were just training? Like, and so it doesn't have to just be within the health and fitness, but those other pros that were kind of complementary to my own. And so that's what Podify allows you to do, is get on it and build that team. You can say, oh, you know what? I want 3-4 of these other pros, invite them in. You're all connected. Then you can actually send referrals, track the referrals, monetize that referral. So now we're making extra money for referring to each other, and you can collaborate through it on that client. And that's one of the things I think that's really critical is a client spends money on me for training, goes to a chiropractor, comes back like, if me and that chiropractor aren't actually collaborating, then the chiro doesn't know what I'm doing with them. And when they come back to me, my client's like, I'm like, what did the chiro say? Oh, they're holding their low back. Oh, something was tight in here. Oh, that doesn't help me at all.
Right.
But if the chiro said, hey, left QL is super locked up in his hip flexor and make sure you stretch his psoas, piriformis could probably get a little rolled out. all on the left side, and I'd recommend, okay, cool. Now that client's getting more benefit out of it.
Right.
And that's where I wanted Podify to really help the pros communicate with each other, providing better service for the client, all while putting more clients in each other's businesses.
I love that. I think it's interesting when you're talking about the referral piece, right? Because when you look at the statistics and conversion rates, right, on any business, doesn't matter like what industry you're in, but referrals, they convert at astronomically higher rate.
60%. Yeah, it's like that's the lifeblood of any business. Any business, it's referrals.
Yes.
I mean, it could be the new restaurant that just opened up down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I've driven by it a bunch of times, but one of my buddies just says, "Man, I had the best dinner there last night. Guess where I'm eating dinner tonight?"
Exactly.
Right. And I think what's interesting with referrals is like, if someone's already spending money on me and they're interested in their health and fitness or whatever, then they have the money. They're a qualified lead. I've already now sold you, Matt, to my client. You didn't have to do anything. All you had to do was accept the appointment, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because there's nothing better than having another professional that's trusted by that client selling the other professional to that client. Yes. And that's the power behind it. That client goes into that professional and is probably going to stay for life with them. You know what I mean? Because, I've been working with Bryan for 10 years. Love Bryan, trust Bryan with my life. He says that I'm terrified of chiropractic work, but Bryan says this is the guy. Mm-hmm. He's going to that client's going to walk in and get a lot of benefit out of that.
Do you think, because a lot of what crops up for me in the past when I think about referring, business to other people, and what I've thought about in the past is like, am I going to lose business from referring this person in?
Yep.
Do you find a lot of like trainers, like people worry about that side of things, and that's what ultimately holds them back?
That they feel like they're going to lose their client if they were to refer them over to someone else.
Yeah, who does something kind of similar but different.
Is that what you're talking about right there? My phone was dying, so I just plugged it in to make sure I didn't lose you on this call. Yes. So I didn't know if I had the question right.
Yep. No, exactly. Yeah, because I think a lot of people, and I had this earlier in my career, where it's like if I'm working with somebody one-on-one, right, and I'm their coach, right, and we're doing mental toughness work and leadership development and stuff. And then they come up with a very strategic business growth question. It goes back to your whole thing of like, I know what I'm good at. Can I do strategic thinking, help you build a business plan, all that stuff? Sure. But that's not where, and I do a very good job at it, but it's not in my wheelhouse. It's not where I want to spend my energy and do that. So I'm better off, and I've gotten to the point now where, I've got this other coach I go to, and he's unbelievably strategic. In building businesses and stuff like that. And I say, you need to go talk to this guy. And at first it was funny because it was just the whole thing of like, shoot, is he going to steal the client? Because, but I've gotten to
But how much more successful is your business now because you've adopted that method?
Exactly.
And it's whether or not you're operating from a mindset of scarcity or a mindset of abundance.
Yes.
Right. And when you are in a business that is not really growing or new, you're just getting your feet wet with it. You're trying to grow. You're terrified. You're holding on to your client. You're one client. You're holding on to them, and you got a noose and a ball and chain, and you're like, you're not going anywhere. This is my client. You know what I mean? Yep. And the client feels that. They feel the dependence that you have on the relationship. They feel they know that, and you're trying to do everything and be everything and sell your best and it's all being picked up in the wrong energy, right? Which we don't realize at that time. But your client will love you, appreciate you, and respect you so much more when I say, look at you've got a, and I'm like, hey, one of my clients had he's got this really bad, I'm actually sitting in his office right now because I'm meeting with him next.
Are you okay?
He's got really bad scoliosis, and he crashed off his bike last summer and broke his back. He's got a chip between L5 and S1. And last week, finally, he just went in for back surgery, ripped open from the inside, guts out, blah, blah, blah. Put in the spacers between L5, S1 and put in all these rods and screws. And he just walked by. He's walking straight. He's looking great. He's 5 days out of surgery, right? But I know what I can do with him. And when I'm like, hey, look, you know what? This is, I know you want to keep training with me, but you've reached that point right now where you actually haven't earned the right to train with me. You've got to go physical therapy. Here's the guy. I need you need to go get a CAT scan on this thing, right? And I think that your clients will respect you when you are, and then especially when that professional is vetted, right? You're not just sending them to some stranger, right? Because it's like your LinkedIn. You've got 10,000 connections on LinkedIn, but I don't know any of them. They all just connect to me, and it's like, oh, cool. We just keep adding connections and adding connections, but I don't know what anyone is, and they just spam me. Well, it only takes like 4, 5, 6 other amazing pros to have this little team. It's almost like the medical industry, which is, the medical industry has a network, right, with your health insurance. Like this doctor is in our network. Well, a personal trainer or hairstylist, they actually do have a network, but they just haven't created that network yet. It's very informal. And if they were to formalize that network and say, oh, man, you know what, that chiropractor, that acupuncturist, that massage therapist, that realtor, whatever, right? That's the person, that babysitter, right? We do have those other types of professionals. So,
well, that's what I love about it, because when I look at Podify, it's a couple things. One is like you establish this network that you can connect to all the people, and you can see it in a way where, like, I know I can look at my little 8 connections or 5 or however many you have on there, and know that like these are my go-to people, right? Vetted, I trust them, they trust me, and so you have it all right there in the app. And you haven't gone into this, but as you say, you can settle payments in there. You establish like you mentioned, those structures of like, hey, listen, if I refer somebody over to you, pay me 20% or 10% or 1%, whatever it ends up being. But it's all kind of settled through that system, and it's right there, which I think too takes. I'm big into systems, right? Like you're big into systems. Like you wake up at 4:45, you do something. There's a system you put into place, a routine at night, and I love this because it's almost, for me, it takes that pressure off too, of like having a conversation of like, well, are you going to pay me a referral fee this time? Right? And it's like, well, no, hey, let's just establish it, and this is what we're going to do, and I trust you, you trust me, let's help each other. And provide, and the point you made of like provide tremendous value, whatever it takes for your clients, because you're exactly right. If clients feel that, and I look back, if I had not referred one of my mastermind group, my squad members, to this business coach who's like on the strategic side, I would have done him a disservice, and he came back in raving about the connection I had made with him. So it just proved that like it's value.
And he trusts you now because he's impressed with the people you surround yourself with, and that you can open doors to try to help him, and you don't have to be his only solution. And so all of that. And I want to say one more thing. So what's interesting is like most people don't know what to do for a referral. It may sound stupid, but like someone back in the day when I first started my business, it was like, oh, well, if you refer me a client, I'll give you a free hour of personal training. Well, that's $150 I just threw out the door that I gave someone a slot because they sent someone to me. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money to give up for a referral, but you don't know what to do, so you're just kind of like maybe giving away time. What I wanted to do was say, you look at the referral as a customer acquisition strategy and say, well, how much am I willing to pay for that, right? And on Podify, I can say, you know what? I offer $75, right? To me, from anyone that I'm connected to, I'm offering my network $75. So if you send me over somebody, you are guaranteed to get $75, right? Which is really cool. And, but we've got people in the least you can offer is $5, and the most you can offer is $200, because everyone has different, how much it's worth to them. But maybe I only offer $5. I got a new business. I can't really afford it, but hey, $5 is my Starbucks for the day. But we left that freedom. So we call it a referral offering. It's like, hey, how much are you offering for these other people in your network, right, to refer you business? And everyone gets to set their own price. And just because I pay $75 and you only pay $10, well, that's what you can afford, or that's what you value,
Yep.
our relationship at, you see. So it's kind of interesting, the mentality, the game I wanted to put in there was to say, okay, a referral isn't just this cloud, this ghost that flying around that you sent me somebody, and should I get you a bottle of wine? Should I write you a thank you note? Do I send you somebody back to say thank you? It's kind of like, well, look at it. If I sent you $75 for sending me over a client, you're probably going to go, I know 5 other people. You're going to make 5 more intros. There's another whatever the math is, 425. And I just got 6 people in the door who are all now sold on me because you sold them, and I got, and now they're buying packages of training, and I'm off and running.
Yes.
So
I love that, because that's a whole different way to look at it and twist it.
Yep. And then on top of that, on Podify's system, it's very much like a MindBody Online or a Schedulicity. We built in all the management tools. So scheduling and billing and client management, all the notifications and reminders, and taking credit card payments through it, and like a Venmo where you can just send an invoice via text message and your client can pay from the text.
Awesome.
All of that stuff is sitting in there. And I wanted to make the management solution stuff like a commodity, right? Because, come on now, MindBody Online's charging like $175, $195 a month. A lot of these are like super expensive for just scheduling and billing and client management. And I'm like, okay, let's just build the raw bones of what that needs to do.
Right.
And build this whole referral networking piece on top of it with referrals. And it's only $35 a month. And so what's cool is everybody that's listening to this will attach, Matt will attach your invitation code for Podify, and that will give all of your listeners their first month free. You can download it on their iPhone or their iPad. We're just for in the App Store right now for Apple, with Android coming. And but it gives them the first month to download it and try it. And if they like it, they can subscribe after that. And then everyone that signs up, I'll hop on the phone with them for 15 minutes and welcome them in and give them a quick little tour through the platform to get them going.
That's awesome. And, I will definitely put that code in there so everyone can get that free month free. Because, and I'll tell you that, you took me through that demo as well. And it's sleek and awesome. And I just, probably one of the best parts of it is just the text messaging feature of, alert them right there and be like, oh, you got an invoice and here you go. And like, off we go. It's so simple. So I absolutely love it. You're awesome, man. I can't thank you enough for being on the podcast. I got to get out to San Diego to see you one of these days.
Well, the good news is, we're both in sunny places. It just so happens that mine stays 80 degrees.
Exactly. So. I think every time I talk to you, I'm like, how's the weather? And I'm like, that's another stupid question. And I ask that every time. How's the weather? 80. How's the weather? 80. Yeah.
The best job in the world is the meteorologist here in San Diego.
Yeah.
Today it's going to be sunny.
That's exactly right. They can't make much money, but they probably do.
No, they can't. I know that. And they all get so excited. There's going to be one cloud up there tonight. Make sure you get out with your telescope and look at the cloud.
Exactly. Jeez, the whole city shuts down looking at that one cloud.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, this is awesome, man. I can't thank you enough for being on, and we'll do a little. Take 2 when I come visit you in San Diego, or convince
would love it.
Your family to come out here to Denver and spend some time with us. But I'll make sure everyone connects with you on Podify.com and put some other links onto social media as well. Is there any specific social media stuff you want them to connect with, or?
They can follow us on Instagram, and I'd say that's probably a good one right now. I'm just getting some of our social media stuff going. I realize social media is really good for social validation, right?
Yes.
But as far as building Podify right now, we're doing it all with referrals from all of our ambassadors and of our affiliate alliances. So our social media needs to get beefed up. I really need to get some interns.
Right. For those listening, any interns?
Yeah. If any interns are listening right now, we're hiring. It's totally unpaid.
That's right. That's right. You get to, no, this is awesome, man. And I'll make sure everyone connects with you and gets that link for the free the free 30-day trial. And just thanks again. Thanks so much for taking your time. And you and I will be in touch very soon.
I appreciate you having me. It's been an honor to share some time with you, Matt. You're doing good work out there.
I appreciate you, Bryan. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Bye-bye.